Our guest today on Caribbeana is Marcia Weeks. And Marcia Weeks is from the island of Barbados. We're speaking to her as she's in Barbados, and she's with the Praise Academy of Dance. Marcia, tell us a bit of what do you do in Barbados?
Yes, sir. Well, it's a real privilege to be here with you this morning. I want to say a pleasant good morning to all of your listeners. I'm not sure if you're watching it in the morning or the afternoon or the
Right.
evening,
Yeah.
but just saying hello to all the listeners there in Washington, D.C., and sending out, here we are in Barbados. It's beautiful weather,
Yes.
nice and sunny, at
Yeah.
least today. And I'm
Yes.
looking out, my windows are open. I'm saying it to let everybody feel jealous.
Yes, yes.
But yes, no, but it's a privilege to be here. As you said, I am in Barbados. I run an art school, Praise Academy of Dance, but I'm also involved in activism. I'm also a broadcaster on the Marcia Week show.
Yes, yes.
Which airs 4 times a week in Barbados. And on the Marcia Week show, what we do, we're involved in a lot of education, mobilization, agitation on national issues,
Right,
that
right,
affect
right, right,
Barbados and the diaspora, the
right,
Caribbean and the African diaspora on a
right,
whole. Now,
right.
one of the issues that is concerning us is the cybercrime bill, and so
Yes.
you asked me what I do. So we would use the show, the Marcia Week show, to
Uh-huh.
educate Barbadians on this particular bill, which is called the Cybercrime Bill 2024.
Right,
And so these are some of the things that we do. We educate, we try to get Barbadians in the know so that they can
right,
make right decisions.
right. So this cybercrime bill is a bill that was brought up by Prime Minister Mia Mottley and her government in Barbados to deal with cybercrime the country is facing.
Yes, it is a bill that, as just what you said, that it was brought. It is there are lots of parts of this bill that's very necessary because they're
Yeah,
dealing with protecting of children, on
yeah,
in that space from
right, right,
pornography, etc.
right,
And also, crimes, cyber crimes against Barbadian citizens
right,
and so on. It's very, very important. The
right.
challenge, though, is that there are sections of that bill that are really threatening the freedom of expression
Okay,
of Barbadian citizens, and that's
right,
where
right,
our
right.
concern is.
So Barbadians, do you find that they are uncomfortable with the presentation of this bill? And I would imagine there are measures of protest taking place in the country over that.
Yes, the bill was first presented when the bill was first presented to us. It was passed actually in the lower house, and by the time it got to the upper house, is when I think the people, the citizens were aware of it because I don't
Yeah,
know if you're aware. In Barbados, we don't at the time we didn't have any opposition because
yeah,
Miss Motley had all of the seats.
right.
And so when that occurs, those kinds of situations occur, then it becomes very, very easy for bills to be passed. And
Yeah,
so a show like mine would try to bring to the attention of the Barbadian
right, right,
citizens,
right,
look, there is something going on
right.
in the lower house. There's a new bill. Be careful because you don't have those extra eyes to,
Yes,
to watch. Okay. So
yeah,
we're like a pressure group. We kind of watch over what's happening.
right.
So by the time it got to the upper house, this bill, we recognize, had sections in there, especially sections 19 and 20,
Yes.
which says, you would never believe, it says that if you make a post online
Uh-huh.
that causes someone to feel anxious
Uh-huh.
or to feel intimidated or to
Right,
feel humiliated
right, right.
or if they feel any kind of, or they feel some emotional distress,
Yes, yes.
that you could be liable if they went to the police and say, well, I saw this post and I felt any of the I felt anxious.
Right.
You could be liable to pay 100,000 Barbados dollars or
Wow.
10 years in jail. 10.
Wow. I mean, this is incredible. It's incredible. I mean, and what is the reaction of Prime Minister Motley? She is looked upon by the rest of the Caribbean as a vibrant, critical woman, significant leader of the Caribbean. I mean, and so what is she saying in all of this?
I mean, the bill is coming from her government, and so
Yeah,
this is a bill that she has sanctioned. She is brought in when we heard about the bill. We started to write to the newspaper,
yeah.
um, etc. And her government doubled down and said they needed the bill, and they wanted to actually get the bill enacted into law before World Cup, Cricket
Okay.
World Cup, and we
Right,
went to the streets and we started to protest in the
right.
streets, etc., about
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And so they took it back to what is called a joint select committee, and where we were able to go into parliament because it was worse,
Yes, yeah, yes, yeah.
we had to go into parliament and make our concerns known.
No, no, right.
And at that time, sir, the bill, it was 7 years or 7 years in jail or 70,000 Barbados dollars. But then they had other words in there in the bill,
Yeah,
other offenses. They took out those offenses and
right.
kept those four main ones that I said: anxiety, emotional distress, humiliation, and intimidation. But there were some other things in there that said that even if your post on social media was true,
Right.
even if it was true,
True,
you would
right.
still have go to jail
Liability.
and or pay. So they removed certain things, but then what they did, they increased the fine and they increased the jail time. So Miss Motley's government, they basically doubled down on what they were what the content of the bill, the original bill that they were
Yeah,
presenting.
yeah,
And for us in the country, when you think about the young people who are artists, who are poets, they're writers,
yeah.
we're talking about social media content
Right.
makers, all of them, we don't know what to do at this stage because there's a lot of fear in the country
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. And have you all sought help from the outside, the UN or the international institutions, the OAS? And I know these people don't do really nothing really. I mean, but I mean, has the effort to reach out to other help, overseas help?
Yes,
Mm.
we have, because it's so serious. I mean, a person like me, a broadcaster like me, I would have to consider not having my show anymore because any frivolous person could say, well, I felt offended or I felt
Right.
harassed or I felt, like your radio station. I mean, anybody could come up and say, that they felt anxious by something that was said,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of flippant. But anyway, what happened is that because of the concern, we wrote to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights in
Okay.
Washington,
Right.
D.C.
Right.
And they looked at what we presented and thought that it merited a hearing.
Right.
So we will be traveling to Washington on November 11th.
Okay.
And we're going to, it's the citizenry. We're going to present, how we believe it's going to affect us. Those who
Right.
are in broadcasting, those who are activists, those who are poets, who are artists, those
Right.
who are social media content providers, even pastors are coming because it could affect them. As well, because there are portions of the Bible, if it is read, can make someone anxious.
Yes, yes, yes. Boy, I mean, when one thinks of the little Caribbean, sand, sea, and shores, you never imagine things like this would be happening. Eh? But we have certainly gone through a tremendous and critical history throughout our lifetime, and we just have to deal with it. People just deal with it. So I certainly applaud you and your colleagues for making this kind of effort. But what is in the long term objective? What is the goal? to be done in the exercise of what you're doing?
The long-term objective is that we want a balanced cybercrime bill. We believe that that space needs to be regulated. We
Yeah.
believe that, but we do not believe that the citizens should be criminalized with, especially when you have these broad concepts of anxiety and so
Yeah.
on. You are basically spreading a very, very wide net and really taking away, I believe, our human rights, freedom of expression and freedom of speech,
Right.
freedom of conscience. And so we believe that the government of Barbados, Prime Minister Motley government needs to go back to the drawing board and come up with a bill that is more balanced and not so draconian. We have the most draconian cybercrime bill in the Caribbean. There are lots of islands that don't even have one because they already have a Computer Misuse Act
Right.
bill, which we have already. They have a defamation, they have defamation laws that already exist. So we don't understand why this haste to have this cybercrime bill. We've seen in other countries, sir, with the cybercrime bill, where in some African countries, where the political opponents have used it to shut down the opposition. So
Uh-huh.
here we have one person that is now making up the opposition in Barbados. What if? What if that opposition is shut down and put into prison? Who speaks on behalf of the people? So we are not sure what the reasons what the reasons might be, you see. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that it is important, it's in the best interest of the citizenry of Barbados and in terms of democracy, to preserve democracy,
Yeah.
that Prime Minister Mia Motley and the government of Barbados take a second look at this cyber crime bill and and to ensure that it's constitutional and that it's upholding democracy in the country.
Right. Yes. Yes. Well, listen, Marcia, I want to thank you for bringing this situation to us, and so that we are able to expose it and give people a sense of understanding of what is happening in the Caribbean, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
eh,
well,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to say that we are going to have a wider discussion
Mhm.
in Washington.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Sankofa Video Books and Cafe, and this
Yeah.
is at 2714 Georgia Avenue,
Right.
Northwest. That's where we are going to be, Sankofa Video and Books, and that's going to be on November 11th at 7 p.m.
All
We're
right.
going to have the opposition leader. We have someone from Kenya, Dr. Nathan Wangusi, Eugenia Charles from Haiti,
Right.
and myself. And we're going to address this as a Caribbean issue because obviously, once it's happening in Barbados, you would think that it's something that they're going to try to, use us as a testing ground. And
Right. Right. Right.
yes,
Right.
sir.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Marcia. And I just want to wish you Godspeed and good luck. And we'll stay in touch and follow up with this issue. Okay. Maybe
Yes,
after
sir.
the meeting, a post interview can certainly take place. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank
All
you
right.
and your listeners.
All right. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
God
And
bless.
we'll be speaking with Marcia Griffith in Barbados, and we've been talking a bit about the cyber crimes bill that's being proposed by the government of Barbados under Prime Minister Mia Motley. This is Von Martin. Caribbeana continues.